Hello everyone and welcome to our channel. Today we're going to venture into the biblical story to uncover one of the most fascinating and enigmatic figures of all time, Moses. A charismatic leader, divine lawgiver, but also a man of unwavering faith and an intimate friend of God, Moses embodies values and lessons that still resonate today across ages and cultures. While Moses led the exodus of the people of Israel, his actions and decisions impacted far more than just the history of this single people. He shaped the foundations of beliefs that spread throughout the world, and his miracles defied human logic and imagination. From his encounter with God in the burning bush to the unforgettable crossing of the Red Sea, each step of his life is a lesson in itself. Today we will explore 10 fascinating facts about Moses. Some are well known, others may be a bit more mysterious, but together they weave a deep portrait of a man whose faith and courage were tested. Each moment of his journey invites us to reflect and view history from a different angle. So get ready to dive into this incredible journey through time and faith. And don't forget, if you enjoy this type of content, subscribe to our channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming explorations. Let's get started. 1. Moses and the unexpected sacrifice. Why he offered his life for his people. Did you know that Moses asked God to erase his name from the book of life? This poignant request occurred after a devastating event, the worship of the golden calf. The Israelites, in an outburst of impatience, turned to an idol in the absence of Moses, who was on Mount Sinai. Upon witnessing this betrayal, Moses became enraged, broke the tablets of the law, and in an act of absolute intercession, presented himself before God to ask for forgiveness for his people. Even more surprisingly, Moses was willing to offer his own life to save his companions, but God refused. Why? Because each sin had to be judged individually, reminding us that divine grace is offered to each one of us. This heroic act of Moses shows his deep love for his people, and in a way, foreshadows the ultimate sacrifice of Jesus. It is a poignant lesson on forgiveness and the importance of turning to God, even in times of spiritual decline. The idol of Nehushtan. When healing becomes a temptation. After the liberation from Egypt, the people of Israel found themselves in the desert, complaining about the harshness of life. In response to their murmurs, God sent venomous snakes, but also a divine solution, a bronze serpent on a pole. Anyone who looked at the serpent after being bitten would be healed. But what seemed like a simple means of healing quickly became an object of veneration, to the point where the Israelites made it a symbol of worship. Centuries later, during the religious reforms of King Hezekiah, the serpent was destroyed. This destruction was not just a symbolic act, but a strong reminder that, although some objects have a divine origin, they should never become idols. The worship of the object was a deviation from the worship of God himself. This story teaches us that sometimes even blessings can be diverted from their true purpose, and only God deserves our worship. 3. Why did Moses escape divine anger? Another striking episode from Moses' life occurs at the burning bush, a moment when God gives him the mission to free the Israelites. However, in Exodus, an unexpected scene happens on the way. Moses, traveling to Egypt, faces God's anger. God, shocked by Moses' failure to circumcise his son, considers punishing him severely. This tense moment reveals the importance of divine commandments, even for those called to exceptional missions. But thanks to the swift intervention of Zipporah, his wife, who realizes the urgency of the situation, Moses escapes divine wrath. This scene illustrates that obedience to divine laws is crucial, even when the mission seems the most important. 4. Moses' sin, why he couldn't enter the promised land. Moses led his people for decades through the desert, but he never set foot in the promised land. Doesn't that seem unfair? The leader who sacrificed everything for his people is denied entry into the land he promised to God. Why? This setback follows an incident at the Rock of Meribah, where Moses, frustrated by the constant complaints of the people, strikes the rock instead of speaking to it, as God had commanded. This act of disobedience wasn't just a human mistake, but a symbolic break, The rock representing Christ was only to be struck once. This shows the importance of obedience to God and the gravity of mistakes, even for the greatest leaders. The confrontation with the magicians. Moses versus occult powers. The famous confrontation between Moses and the Egyptian magicians, Jannes and Jambres, is often cited as an example of the superiority of divine miracles over occult powers. When the magicians tried to imitate Moses' wonders, they failed consistently to replicate the plagues inflicted by God. This reminds us of a fundamental truth. No human magic, no matter how impressive, can rival the power of God. Even in his confrontation with supernatural forces, Moses is always supported by divine authority. 5. The death of Moses, a mysterious end. The death of Moses remains a fascinating mystery in the Bible. After guiding his people through the desert, he climbed Mount Nebo, where God showed him the promised land, but did not allow him to enter. Moses died there alone, in the intimacy of God, and his body remained unknown. This mysterious end, far from being a mere departure, is a symbolic moment marking that even the greatest among us are subject to God's will. 6. A life of faith and challenge. Moses, a man of faith, challenges, and miracles, teaches us much more than the story of a liberator. His choices, sacrifices, and mistakes show how faith is a journey filled with obstacles, but also great revelations. By learning from his life, we discover timeless lessons about obedience, sacrifice, and above all, divine grace. If this video has inspired you, leave a like, subscribe to our channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Which lesson from Moses resonates the most with you? We'd love to hear your thoughts. See you soon for a new spiritual exploration.